Today's lesson is Taylor Swift, making records and breaking records. Hi, everybody. My name is Roger.
And I'm Helen.
And today we're going to continue talking about the pop music sensation Taylor Swift. Maybe you've heard about her. Maybe you like her music. She is quite popular, and I believe if she is so popular, you should be able to download her music pretty easily, and you can use it as a way to improve your English listening ability and to sing a song at the same time.
Yes, I think one reason why she's so popular is that she was able to cross genres. So she started out as a country singer, country musician. She wrote country songs. And then she expanded to pop. And she also had some forays into heavy metal, into rock. So she's a very well-rounded musician who knows how to write catchy tunes. She also plays the guitar, and she's really achieved a lot in her musical career.
So let's get to it, everybody. Let's continue talking about her rise to stardom. Let's listen to the first part of our lesson, and then we'll come back to discuss it.
Unlike numerous top-selling artists, Swift writes or co-writes all her songs, mostly about herself and her relationships, and that's remained true throughout both her country career and since her pivot to pop in 2012. While collecting over 100 industry awards and 84 Guinness World Records, she's remained emotionally open and vulnerable, giving her millions of fans an intimate look into her life.
大家好，第一部分我们可以看到形容词 numerous， 指的是许多的或是众多的。例如 There are numerous problems with your idea, so I don't think it will work. 你的构想有许多问题，所以我不认为它行得通。或者 This swampland is home to numerous species of birds, frogs, and insects. 这处沼泽地是许多鸟类、蛙类和昆虫的栖息地。接下来我们看到单字 vulnerable， 它是形容词，意思是脆弱的或是易受影响的，也可以是易感染某疾病的或是易受伤的。举例来说 Carly is vulnerable to infection because of her poor immune system. Carly 因为免疫系统不好，所以容易受到感染。或者说 The town is vulnerable to flooding as it is near the river. 那座城镇临近河川，所以易患洪灾。再来，我们看到形容词 intimate， 指的是亲密的、私密的或是隐私的。例如 The tabloid published intimate details about the two celebrities' relationship. 八卦小报刊登了那两位名人恋情亲密的细节。
Unlike numerous top-selling artists, Swift writes or co-writes all her songs mostly about herself and her relationships, and that's remained true throughout both her country career and since her pivot to pop in 2012. So one thing we know about Taylor Swift and that she's famous for is the fact that many of her songs reflect her personal experiences. Sometimes when she breaks up with a boyfriend, she'll write about it, and the lyrics will probably resonate with listeners because they sound really authentic. Maybe they reflect the listener's personal experiences in love and breakup. So that's probably one reason why Taylor Swift is so popular, that she writes most of her songs, or if she doesn't write them completely herself, she might co-write the songs. When you co-write a song with somebody, you write that song with another person or with other people. And the fact that she writes or co-writes all of her songs makes her unlike many other artists or numerous top-selling artists. Numerous here refers to something that exists in large numbers. You could say that there were numerous people at the shopping mall on Saturday, which means that there were many people at the shopping mall. And while collecting over 100 industry awards and 84 Guinness World Records, she's remained emotionally open and vulnerable, giving her millions of fans an intimate look into her life. Industry awards here refers to awards related to the industry of music, since Taylor Swift is a musician. So that might refer to Grammy Awards or MTV Awards. Those are all awards related to the music industry. She also won 84 Guinness World Records. So a Guinness World Record is a record that's given by the association called Guinness, or the Guinness World Records Association or organization, that gives out awards for accomplishments that have never been done before. And everybody knows Guinness in some respect. Now, despite having won all of these awards and records, she has remained emotionally open and vulnerable. When somebody is vulnerable, or when an animal is vulnerable, they are weak or they are easy to hurt. When vulnerable is used to describe a person, we're not only talking about the possibility of physically hurting that person, but also emotionally. Somebody who is emotionally vulnerable can get hurt easily emotionally.
Exactly. We can talk about certain territories in the world being vulnerable to attack if another country wants to attack and invade them. So, of course, those territories need to have a strong army so that they're not vulnerable to attack. But here she's vulnerable. She's actually opening her heart to her fans, telling them all about her personal life. And yes, indeed, she's giving her millions of fans an intimate look into her life. If you're intimate with somebody, you're close, you share personal details with them that they don't share with other people. So she's kind of bearing her heart here. She's letting people know exactly how she feels about things. Even though you may or may not agree with her, still she's bearing it all. She's letting us look inside. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. Okay, that brings us to the end of the first part of our lesson for today. Let's move on now to the second part.
Despite her incredible musical and marketing talent, not everything in Swift's career has been easy. Her former label owned her original recordings and refused to sell them to her for a price she considered fair, which meant that she couldn't give permission for them to be used in movies or commercials. Since she does own the rights to the compositions, however, she's begun re-recording those early albums with the new versions, which she does own, hitting the tops of the Billboard charts once again.
第二部分我们看到单字 incredible， 它是形容词，意思是惊人的、令人难以置信的或是极好的。举例来说 The basketball player made an incredible shot at the end of the game. 在比赛尾声时，这个篮球选手投出令人难以置信的一球。又或者是 Publishing a novel before turning 18 is an incredible achievement for a young writer. 在18岁前出版小说，对年轻作家来说是个不得了的成就。再来，我们看到名词 marketing， 指的是行销学或是销售。例如 Most of the marketing for the company was done by another firm. 该公司的大部分行销由另一家公司完成。又或者是 The marketing of the product will consist of television and internet advertisements. 该产品的行销将包括电视和网络广告。最后我们看到单字 composition， 它是名词，意思是音乐作品、乐曲、作曲或是音乐创作技巧。我们可以说 The composition of the sun is 75% hydrogen and 25% helium. 太阳的构成包含 75% 的氢和 25% 的氦。也可以说 Sam learned a great deal about composition in his freshman year. Sam 在大一时学到了许多关于音乐创作的技巧。另外补充这个字的动词 compose, C-O-M-P-O-S-E, compose, 指的是组成、构成或是撰写。举例来说 For Helen's birthday, her boyfriend composed a song about her. Helen 的男友为了她的生日做了一首关于她的曲子。又或者说 The cake is composed of 3 layers, and each one has a different flavor. 那个蛋糕由3层组成，而且每层有不同的口味。
Swift may seem like she's on the top of the world, but she has had her fair share of struggles. Despite her incredible musical and marketing talent, not everything in Swift's career has been easy. Indeed, Swift's talent can be seen in different areas. First of all, of course, is her musical talent, which is incredible. Something that's incredible is difficult to believe. It's amazing. It's wonderful. And she does have an incredible musical talent because she's able to write songs and she's able to sing, perform, and play the guitar. So she's incredibly talented musically. But she is also talented when it comes to marketing. Marketing refers to the process of selling things, of encouraging people to buy a particular product. When you're an artist, it's not only important to put out your product, to write songs or to paint paintings or to write books. You also have to think about the marketing aspect. You have to get people to buy your product. Otherwise, nobody will know about it. They won't buy it. What you put out could be wonderful. You might have a lot of talent, but if nobody is listening to your music or reading your book, then you're not going to be making any money from it.
Exactly. You might be a great graphic artist and you look out there and you see other people whose ability is inferior to yours, but they're being more successful. That's probably because they have better marketing talent than you do. So she does have incredible skills in music and she has great marketing talent. And despite that, even though she has these things, even though she's an incredible musician and she has great marketing talent, not everything in her career has been easy. She has had her struggles from time to time. Let's give you an example here. It says her former label owned her original recordings and refused to sell them to her for a price she considered fair, which meant that she couldn't give permission for them to be used in movies or commercials. And that's a way a lot of people, a lot of musicians make money by selling the rights to their songs, especially some older heavy metal bands from the 70s. They often sell their songs to be used in commercials or in TV shows and things like that. I think The Who, for example, were able to make some royalties from using their music in the CSI series there. And this is an example here, though. She can't do that, though, because her former label owned her original recordings. And she said, well, can I buy them from you? And they said, well, you can buy them, but you're going to have to pay this kind of price. And she thought, what? That's outrageous. That is ridiculously expensive. That's not fair. So she could not give permission for those songs to be used in movies or commercials. She couldn't make extra money that way.
Yes. Now, although she didn't own the original recordings, the actual recordings, the songs that were recorded, she does own the rights to the compositions. Since she's the one who wrote the songs, she owns the rights to the compositions of the songs. A composition refers to a piece of music or a piece of writing. And since she is the one who wrote the music, that piece of music belongs to her. We're distinguishing between the piece of music and the recording of that music. Since she wasn't able to have ownership rights of the recording of her music, she did retain ownership of the composition of her music.
Exactly. So that, of course, refers to writing the music, writing the lyrics to the songs, and also writing the music, the chords and the notes and the progressions and all that stuff. So she does own the rights to the compositions of those songs, however. So she's begun recording those early albums again with new versions. She's basically re-recorded them. A version is just a different form of something. So maybe she had an old song that she sang a certain way. Well, now, of course, she's singing it maybe a slightly different way, or she's making it as close as possible to the original. She's got new versions of these songs because she does own the copyright, or at least she owns the rights to the compositions of the songs, and therefore she is legally entitled to re-record them herself, even though she can't use the original ones to sell for commercials or soundtracks or things like that.
Yes, and these new versions of the old songs have hit the top of the Billboard charts once again. She's had success with the new versions of these songs, and if she wanted to, she could use these songs, sell them to commercials, to publicity, and make money from the royalties of selling these songs.
Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson. Let's hear the third part right now.
Although she's experienced some setbacks and self-doubt, Swift has never let them stop her. Fearless is not the absence of fear, Swift says. Fearless is having doubts, lots of them. To me, fearless is living in spite of those things that scare you to death. Clearly, Swift isn't letting fear keep her from living how she wants, as she continues her conquest of the charts.
Although she's experienced some setbacks and self-doubt, Swift has never let them stop her. Indeed, Swift is a person, it seems, that's very driven, very goal-oriented, and like everybody else, she's had some setbacks. A setback is a situation that stops you or delays you from achieving what you want to achieve. It could be a problem in life, and we all experience setbacks. The important thing is to get back on your feet after you've experienced a setback. And like many other people, she's also had some self-doubt. That's when you don't have enough confidence in yourself. When you're afraid of failing, you think you're not going to make it. When other people are better than you, it's that little voice in your head that keeps on telling you you're not good enough. And when you think that even somebody like Taylor Swift has had setbacks and self-doubt, and she was able to get over these obstacles, then that's inspiration for all of us to try to get over them as well and achieve what we want to achieve in life.
Yep, she has experienced these setbacks and she's had self-doubt, but she's able to conquer her fear and get over those setbacks. So she's never let those things stop her. She continues to move forward. And here's what she says. Fearless is not the absence of fear. That's what she says. Fearless is having doubts, lots of them. Okay, so fearless means you don't have any fear, but she's saying that if you are fearless, you still have fear. It's not the absence of fear. Absence just means it's not there. It's not present. So she's saying that if you're fearless, that does not mean you don't have fear. You still do. But actually, fearless is having doubts and lots of them. And she goes on to say, to me, fearless is living in spite of those things that scare you to death. So basically, I think what she's trying to say here is that it's impossible to be fearless. You're always going to be afraid of something. You're always going to be doubtful about things. But she's just saying, move on despite those things and don't be afraid, because the worst that can happen to you is you're going to die. And she's still quite young, so that's probably not going to happen for quite some time.
Yes, so clearly Swift isn't letting fear keep her from living how she wants as she continues her conquest of the charts. Conquest is the noun form of to conquer. To conquer means to beat something or to win at a particular battle or a game or a competition. When you conquer your fears, you experience a conquest.
Okay, that brings us to the end of our discussion about Taylor Swift. Let's now listen to Hanny, our beloved Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第3部分的最后一句写道，显然泰勒斯没有让恐惧阻挠他过他想要的生活，就像他持续征服排行榜单那样。好，文中是用到 keep her from living how she wants 来表达阻挠他过他想要的生活。那我们这边来介绍 prevent、keep 或是 stop 后面接受词 from 加上动词 ing， 这3个用法其实都可以表达避免阻止某人做某事或是避免某事发生。那我们先来看看动词 prevent， 在这边就是表达防止制止。当我们用 prevent somebody or something from doing something， 这通常是用在尚未发生的事，就有预先阻止防止的那种意味。例如 Paul kept his dog on a leash to prevent it from attacking people。 Paul 用牵绳牵住他的狗，以防止它攻击人。好，那我们再看到动词 keep， 在这边它可以表达阻止、妨碍。那么 keep somebody or something from doing something 常常用于正在发生的事，像是 The rain kept them from going fishing， 下雨使他们无法去钓鱼了。好，那至于 stop somebody or something from doing something， 这会比 keep 的用法语气来得强烈。举例来说 The government has taken measures to stop the disease from spreading， 政府已采取措施阻止那个疾病扩散。好，那在最后补充一下 keep 还可以用 keep 受词 from 名词去表达，像如果说 keep people from danger 就是防止人们遭遇危险，可是如果你是说 keep something from somebody， 这则是表达保密隐瞒，不让某人知道某事。举例来说 She kept the secret from her sister， 她不让她姐姐知道那个秘密。好，另外我们看到文中它有用到名词 conquest 来表达征服、攻克、占领。那我们来学它的字首字根，看到 quest 或者是拼作 quer 或者是 qui 这一类的字根呢，表示 seek 寻找， ask 询问， gain 获得。好，那我们看到在 conquest 这个字当中，它的字首 con 表示完全，那么字根 quest 表示寻求。当我们追求的是完全取得所有的事物，寻求对所有人事物的完全掌控，用这样的方式也许可以联想到 conquest， 它有征服啊、征战、占领的意思。好，那也顺便补充2个这一类字根的单字。第一个是 inquire， 它的字首 in 表示进入，字根 quire 这部分表示询问，进去里面询问，进入其中去寻找答案，这样应该可以联想到 inquire 它有询问啊、调查或是打听的意思。那第二个补充的是 acquire， 它的字首 ac 是来自 ad， 在这边做强调用，那么 acquire 表示寻找啊、获得，合在一起acquire 就是获得、得到、习得。那这通常是指说靠自己的努力逐渐培养、习得某一种新的技能啊，或者能力等等。好，那么以上今天重点整理，我们回顾简单字吧。
Numerous. There are numerous grocery stores in my neighborhood. Vulnerable. Susie was extremely vulnerable in the months after the death of her pet. Intimate. Danielle recorded her most intimate thoughts and feelings in her diary. Incredible. Lester has an incredible vocabulary for a 4-year-old. Marketing. The company's marketing was quite effective in making people aware of the company's products. Composition. The musicians' compositions are frequently performed by high school marching bands. Version. The author sold the rights to her novel so that a film version could be made.
Discussion starter starts now!
Here's our discussion starter for today. The question is, if you had to overcome a fear in order to do something you really wanted to do, how would you overcome it?
Well, if I needed to overcome my fear, I would just think about what is the worst thing that could happen. If the worst thing that could happen in a given situation that I fear isn't actually very threatening or very dangerous, or it won't actually make me feel so bad, then maybe I won't have so much fear of that situation anymore.
Well, I think one good way to overcome my fear would be to first identify what that fear is, and then do some research about that, and you'll find out that lots of other people have that same fear. It's nothing new. You're not the only one who's suffering. So deal with it and be comfortable with that fear, and eventually you'll be able to overcome your fear.
Well, everyone, today's article has come to an end, and I sure hope you enjoy reading along with us. I am Helen.
I am Roger.
See you next time.